Welcome back, everyone, to The Life of Bryony. I hope you've had an amazing summer. Now, here at The Life of Bryony, we talk honestly about the chaos of life and the bravery it takes to laugh and live through it. This is the first episode of season 2, and we're kicking it off with the queen of telling it like it is. None other than actress and national treasure, Miriam Margolyes, who's here to talk about her new book and how we can all be a bit more Miriam.
Nobody says that lesbians can't suck cock.
True.
I know. Who's making the rules here? It gave pleasure. It was easy. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't get pregnant. I think it slightly affected my gag reflex. And so going to the dentist is a little bit difficult now.
My chat with Miriam Margolyes right after this. Miriam, I want to talk to you about what it was like getting naked for the cover of Vogue at the age of 83.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that. I can remember that. That's one of the things I can remember. It was unexpected because I hadn't been told that I was going to be asked to get naked. And I mean, I always wash very carefully because, you know, when you're older, you do. But it was a bit of a shock, but I utterly trust Tim, who was my photographer, Tim Walker. He just said, would you do a nude? Would you do it? It was well into the day.
So they'd come and they'd set up in your house.
Yes, and I'd, become a model.
For Vogue?
For Vogue.
Was that something that you ever expected in itself to happen?
Oh, get out. Of course not. Vogue? Absolutely not. I mean, I kind of had a sort of silly attitude towards fashion that I thought it was beneath me. I just had no relevance to my life.
Fashion has always been quite unpleasant to women over a size 8, I've always thought. It's only recently that it has made efforts to accommodate us.
I suppose so. I mean, I'm lucky because when I do a show, a film, telly or something, I get the wardrobe mistress to make me something because they take your measurements very carefully for television. And so they fit. Most of my clothes never fitted properly. They were always too big at the back or too long at the front. But I've now got a series of frocks that I like and I wear them a lot. Actually, I didn't wear one today. I wore this because it was comfy and it's slightly layered. So if it was hot, I could take my jacket off. But I like this jacket. I think it's quite smart.
It's lovely. The colours suit you.
I thought they did too.
There was something so we're talking about the little book of Miriam, which is, I just want this podcast, I want everyone tuning in, because I think they're going to want this, is they want to know how to be more Miriam. And this book gives us the opportunity to, I want to get a tattoo on my arm that says, what would Miriam Margolyes do? That's the tattoo I want on my arm. And because I think you are obviously known as a fantastic actress, but I think in latter years, you've also become a great sage. People love listening to you. A sage.
A sage and onion.
Have you got an onion with you today?
No, I didn't bring an onion today because I know I'm going to get one when I get home.
Okay.
I've got them at home, of course. Thank you. Look, I'm not a writer. I think of myself as an actress. And now I think of myself as a documentarian because I've morphed into doing what you do, asking questions of people. But it's thrilling to think that I've written a book that people will buy. I believe they will buy because they bought my other book.
I just felt reading this book, I felt Miriam and we have a lot in common, body-wise.
Thank you for saying so. I'd like a body like yours. I'd like to be tall. I've shrunk. I'm only 4'10". It's ridiculous. I'm as broad as it's long. It really is. It's awkward, and that's why I often come with cushions and stools and sticks and walkers, because I can't reach anything. I mean, I could always reach a cock, but I don't have to anymore.
So you are a magnificent human, and the reason I asked about getting naked for the cover of Vogue, and then you went on to the wardrobe mistresses, because reading the Little Book of Miriam, I felt this great sort of relatability and what it feels like to be a bit other, to not necessarily fit the jelly mold that society has pushed forward for women. And I think there's a lot in there that it comforted me, and it made me feel a lot more, it made me feel that it was okay to be me. And I got the sense...
Oh, it is.
No, and I know, but I get the sense that this is something that you've struggled with in your life. You just mentioned the wardrobe mistress, and wardrobe mistresses are an entry. So the Little Book of Miriam it's an encyclopedia of...
Yeah, it's an alphabetical account of my life and the things that have stood up in my life. And I wanted to call it From Arseholes to Zoom. But my publishers, whom I revere, felt that this was indelicate and might limit the sales. So it is actually From Arseholes to Zoom, but we called it The Little Book of Miriam.
In W, there are wardrobe mistresses, and you talk about how they would always say to you, oh, you just need a bit of an adjustment, Miriam. And I read it and I thought, it sums up what it feels like to be a person who's always told that they just need a little adjustment. Does that make sense?
That's a very astute observation, yes. I think that I didn't feel I needed an adjustment, but everybody else felt that I did. And I wouldn't take that on board. And I think that nobody should. You are who you are. And you should have confidence in who you are, and if possible, like yourself. I really like myself. I think I'm so sweet and kind and good and funny and adorable, really. And I'm always astonished when people don't agree. That's the thing that gets me. They need the adjustment, not me. Mm-hmm. And I think you should think that. When I first saw you, because we had not met before this morning when I came to the Daily Mail. And I mean, I'm only here in the Daily Mail because of you, because the Daily Mail and I are not on good terms a lot of the time. But I thought this podcast sounds interesting, and it's very popular, and it'll sell my book. And of course, I'm very interested in money. I like it. I want it. But I'm not going to be a tart. I don't want to spread my legs for everybody. I'm only spreading them. Well, I'm not spreading them, but I'm parting them slightly for you.
That is, Miriam, that is the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me on this, not just on this podcast, if not ever in my life. I want this to be clipped into a social that I can put on my Instagram and repeated again and again and again until I'm a very old lady.
Well, you have Instagram, you see.
Yes.
Now, I don't have Instagram.
I think you should get on Instagram immediately.
At the moment, I'm in Facebook. That's my only social media connection. And it's getting tricky being on that because they keep making changes to it. And I'm not in control. And I do like to be in control of what goes out. And so I'm thinking I might even leave that.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't want to because, you see, they have this funny thing called Facebook friends. Now, friendship to me is very important. And I love and need the friends I have. And I'm fortunate in that I have a lot of friends because I make friends easily because I need them. I don't have brothers and sisters. I have a lover, my partner, and she is everything, everything. But she's not with me all the time. And so I do need other people. You know, I get things called friend requests from people I don't know. And how can I be friends with someone I don't know? I think you have to be honest and say, I'm sure I'd like you, but I don't know you. And there isn't time to get to know you because I'm 84 and I can barely see the friends that I really do know. So I kind of don't answer friend requests.
But you say in the book that you have something like 11,893 contacts in your phone.
I know
You're always making new friends, Miriam.
I am, because every job you do, you make friends, don't you? You meet people. So I'll probably ask you for your mobile phone number when I leave.
This day gets better and better.
No,
so I can become 11,894.
Well, you can refuse because I know that people don't always want their phone number known by somebody else. But I would take you for a really nice meal. Not today, but another day we'll do it.
Can we talk about food?
Oh, yeah.
Because
I didn't know there's anything else to talk about. There's food, sex, politics, money, religion.
We've already covered quite a lot of those.
And Nigel Farage.
And no, we don't. Listen, we're not going to talk about Nigel Farage.
No, let's
today.
not.
Let's instead talk about food, because again, this sense of, I get this sense of you living life to your fullest. I always want to live as the full fat version of myself, not the semi-skimmed version, you know? And I think so many women feel that they have to live as the skinny version of themselves. And what I sense with you is that living in full fat, not in moderation. Moderation is another entry in the little book of Miriam. And we can guess what Miriam thinks of moderation.
I don't like it.
Me neither. But enjoying food and enjoying sort of living life to the full is also another kind of theme of the book, I would say.
Yes, and I think that's possibly because as I've got older, I've become more Miriam. I've just let it happen. I think I was always like this, even when I was a little girl. I always liked to talk. I always liked to eat. I always ate too much. I liked to laugh. And I think that as you get older, you have more confidence. I got more confident as I got older, but not about being a writer. That I'm still very humble and nervous about that, quite genuinely. I'm not humble and nervous about being me. I know who I am. And I think that's what I want everyone to feel hopefully after reading my book, buying it, of course, that they feel better about themselves. You know these things called cameos?
Yes.
It's a website that started in America, and well-known people can be paid for saying hello and cheering up non-celebrity people. And you set your own price. I think my price is £100. Right. I want to clear £100. And I get lots of requests for pep talks, not just happy birthday and happy anniversary, but so-and-so is feeling down in the dumps, their workmates are horrid to them, you know, and that's become very much more popular in my list of things to do on Cameo. And it's interesting because people need affirmation. We all need it. We need to be told, you're wonderful, I love you, I trust you, you make a difference. And I think if you can give that to people, you're doing good work. And that's what I try to do. And in my books.
So I think a lot of the audience of The Life of Bryony are women who perhaps don't feel confident in being fully themselves for whatever reason. But I was going to ask you, what would your... So not obviously, I can transfer you £100 for this pep talk for this, but for the listeners of The Life of Bryony, what would you say if someone's sitting in their car right now or on the tube in someone's armpit, feeling low, feeling hopeless, feeling despair, feeling any of these things? What would your pep talk to them right now be?
I would say, look, I know you're feeling rough at the moment because you've written and told me so. But I want to tell you, first of all, you are not alone. There are a great many people at the moment who feel rough. And it's understandable because the world is shitty. The wrong people are running things. And so we all feel uncertain and nervous and frightened. But the fact that you've written to me means that you know who you are and you know that you shouldn't be feeling miserable like this, that there is another possibility. I want you to grasp that possibility. I want you to go to the mirror and look at yourself and think, I'm not insanely beautiful, but I have a face. I have a life. I have a world that I inhabit. And I can change it. I personally can do that if I believe in myself just a little bit more. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Just believe, trust in yourself, like yourself, know who you are, and just for once, put yourself first.
Oh, I want to give you a round of applause. That was sensational.
But it's true, and I've often had to say that to people. What you can say when people are dying of cancer and know it, or multiple sclerosis or some very painful illness, then it's harder because you know what that can be. You know the horror of it, and you know the despair that people feel. And that's when I try to cheer people by saying, you are loved. You have made a difference in your life. You're going through the toughest part of it. But think of the difference you've made. Think of how if you die, and you know we're all going to die, what a difference it will be. What a hole. There'll be a flora-sized hole. And in that hole, all the love that you have made people feel for you is placed. You are not forgotten. You will be remembered, adored. People will be grateful that you've lived. And that's what I want when I die. I want people to miss me. I don't know, some won't, but some will.
I think many people will. And fuck the people that won't.
Yeah, you're right.
You have a very strong sense of self.
I do, actually, yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
Oh, Mummy.
Yeah.
Mummy gave that to me. Daddy was less so because he was himself, I think, a rather frightened person. But Mummy was bold and Mummy was sure. And she, who had never expected, I think, to have children because of the war. You know, they were married 11 years, my parents, before I turned up. But she loved me with a ferocity, with a fierceness, with a totality, which may not have been a good thing, because I've always expected everybody to react to me the way Mummy did, with adoration. And of course they don't, and nor should they. But it was lovely being spoilt. I loved it.
Your mother sounds pretty awesome. She used to
Oh,
do the.
she was.
What I've written down here is, tell me about your mum doing the housework in the nude.
She did. She did the housework in the nude. I don't quite know why she did. I think it was because she thought she might as well be dirty and then get washed. So she wasn't going to wash before doing the housework. She was she was very fat. She had been a dancer and she knew how to carry herself. She had very good posture and she was always trying to make me have better posture. She had a shrewdness. She could read people. She sussed things and she wouldn't be bullied. She gave me a sense of what I could do and that I could do anything I wanted to do if I believed in myself. She was quite a performer. She would have been an actress. Only a nice Jewish girl could never be an actress in the lower middle class world from which my mother came. But she knew that I was talented and she pushed that talent. She was determined. And I remember Grandma, who was called Flora, Grandma Walters, she said to me, you're a star, Miriam, and she gave me a star. And I remember when I was understudying Barbara Windsor, whom I loved, a gorgeous person, and she had a star on her dressing room door. And I said, Barbara, did you put that star on your... She said, yeah, of course I did. Of course I did. I'm a star. Why wouldn't I put it up? And I thought, golly, because I would never have actually shown anybody, because I had, I was born in Oxford where people have manners and, I mean, no heart, but manners. And I would never have done that. But I was given a star when I was a little girl. And I suppose I'm not sure, do I deserve the fame that I have? I don't know if I actually deserve it, but I don't fucking care. I've got it, and that'll do.
But I'm so grateful that you do, because I do genuinely think we need more. I personally need to see more women like you living. I hate the word authentically because it sounds so inauthentic because people use it so often now on social media in its sort of. But I need to see women like you living without giving a fuck. But I mean, you do give a fuck.
I do give several fucks, actually. But I think it's important always to be truthful. When I first went on Graham Norton's show, I didn't know quite what was expected of me, and I didn't know any of the guests.
Who were you on with the first time?
Well, the first, I remember that it was with will.i.am. Oh, he's such a love, a most delightful chap. And I was trying to explain that I didn't know who he was because I'm not into the pop music. I didn't know, even when I was in the 60s, I didn't go to concerts and I didn't like the Rolling Stones. I still don't, actually. I think they're vulgar. But it was, I was trying to explain to people, and I said, well, I don't know many black people. And people, of course, were shocked that I would say such a thing and thought that it was racist to say that. It wasn't racist. If you don't notice when people are black, you must be fucking blind. People are black and Asian and one-legged and fat and all the rest of it. You see what you see. If you change your attitude to people because of what you see, that's racist. Mm. So anyway, I mean, I was furious about that because I don't think I'm racist at all. I suppose I could be racist about being Jewish because I love being Jewish, you see. I think it's best. Being Jewish means that you inherit a range of art, music, jokes, food, history. It's a gift. It can also be a gift. It's the same sort of gift as being Nigerian or Albanian or whatever. You inherit something besides the culture in which you live. And to have the opportunity to have lots of cultures, to have lots of knowledge, to understand that there is a world beyond the English world. You know, when I was born in 41, it was the height of A, the war, and B, the empire. We believed that the British Empire was the only good thing around. We brought sophistication to barbarians. Well, who's being barbarian now? No, we need cross-fertilization between cultures, between people, and I'm grateful that I've been able to have that. But anyway, when I latched onto will.i.am, I gave him a lecture because he kept saying like, which is an American thing. It's come from America. Well, don't do it.
I know. I knew when I read the book, I thought, I must stop myself from saying like all the time.
Well, I haven't noticed your saying it particularly. And did you notice that I said I haven't noticed your saying it? Because the gerund takes the genitive. And I just love that.
That's another entrance, G.
Yes, in G. It's important. Grammar is important. It shouldn't cut you off, but it is the structure of language which enables you to think. You can change it, you can adapt it, and that's why I absolutely respect when trans people want me to say them when it's only one person. It was tricky for me, but it makes them happy.
And that's what matters to you.
And that's what matters.
That matters more than
more than grammar.
So will.i.am, I love how we can just go. We can within one conversation we've gone from will.i.am to the joyous cultural experience of being Jewish to pronouns.
Well, but that's life, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's what it should be. It should be this glorious mixture that everything is poured into the pot. And I think that's what I've been good at. That's why I've got a pot belly. It's full. It's a full belly, full of all the things that have happened in my life. And it's not over. I don't want my life to be over yet.
You talk in the book a lot about weight and being fat and your and the belly, and I love the freedom with which you write about that. But I also get the sense, because you talk about going to sort of health farms, as they used to call them in the 80s.
Health farms.
And obviously, you most, there's a sense, and I may be wrong here, that you regret that you were never able to lose weight.
I think it's naughty of me to be 84 and fat. I honestly do. I think that if I'd had any sense, I would have lost weight. I would have still been the same person, but I probably would have been fitter. You know, I mean, I'm not particularly fit because I've got, well, you know, I piss myself a lot because I didn't do pelvic floor exercise. That's one of the things, by the way, I want to pass on to ladies. Please, pelvic floor, darlings. It's very important.
I'm doing some Kegels now.
Are you doing
literally as I talk to you? Because
great. Nobody knows.
No one knows. I hope that everyone
squeeze
listening...
your clit and squeeze your arsehole and it's thrilling.
I hope that everyone now is doing a little bit of Kegeling.
Yes, they should. You're a Kugel and you've got a Kegel. That's the truth. But I should have lost weight. I wish I had. I haven't. I've managed without. But it's better not to take Ozempic
Yes,
and all
well,
those things. I'm really against that.
What I was going to ask you what you thought of all this sort of weight jab
Bollocks,
culture.
it's rubbish. You shouldn't do it. I mean, people with diabetes, thank God I don't have diabetes, but if you have diabetes, you need Ozempic. It's a medicine for people who are ill. It's not for vanity. You should be able to control your appetite.
Do you think that though? Because
I fucking do. Yes, I do.
But don't you think there's shame? Because it's interesting because you talk about overeating, and do you feel that's something that you do you get the sense that you've failed because you haven't managed to not fail? Failure is perhaps the wrong word, but that you are somehow at fault because you haven't managed to control your appetite.
Oh, I do think that.
Do you?
I absolutely do. Yes, of course. Because I have knowingly hurt my body. I've knowingly, as I reach forward for the second helping of cheesecake or coffee and walnut, my darling George at home, he makes me coffee and walnut. I mean,
recipes in the book.
It is.
Available in all good bookshops.
No, it's not. I know as I reach forward that I shouldn't be doing it. I'm fighting my own desire to be well by greed. I'm greedy. I love the taste of things, the explosion of joy in the mouth. Maybe that's why I'm, was a famous cocksucker. But it really does delight me. Food. I get pleasure from it. And I gave the pleasure more prominence than health. And that was stupid.
Do you feel I don't get the sense that you feel any shame about that.
Shame is pointless. I did it. I acknowledge it. I regret it. But I'm not ashamed. No point in being ashamed. I did it. I have to own what I did. But I just think that people should be more careful. However, television advertisements for food should be stopped. They did it for cigarettes. And I have, I was a mannequin cigar person, and I was a Cadbury's caramel bunny voice. I made money out of making people ill. That's shocking. And that I am ashamed of.
Really?
But I didn't know it then. I didn't think about it. It wasn't thought about. I just thought about the money. Now I think about other things too. And I really believe that if you want the National Health Service to survive, and I do with all my heart want that, we have to stop advertising food.
Well, I think it's the new. You mentioned cigarettes, and I think that in the future we will perhaps look back at a lot of the ultra processed food with the same addictive qualities as smoking. Certainly, I don't know about the carcinogenic effects of them, but I definitely think that that's sort of coming to the fore, isn't it?
I hope so. I mean, and we have to protect the planet. I mean, I just feel very like a missionary about things now. I want people to be better, all the time. Be better than you are, because you will leave the world hopefully better. And our generation, my generation, we're leaving it worse. It's in a worse state, and it's because of greed. So I'm now probably more left-wing than I've ever been.
Which runs against what we conventionally think happens, which is that the older we get, the more right-wing we become.
Well, I haven't become right-wing. I've veered to the left, definitely. And it's funny because this tit is bigger than this tit.
That's I have that too.
Which one's your big one?
I think my left is bigger than my right. I love the way that you talk about having large boobs, and can I talk about this also? You mentioned it just then, so I'm going to bring it up, which is cocksucking. There is a lot of cocksucking in the Little Book of Miriam, especially for someone who describes themselves as a lesbian.
I am a lesbian, but I'm not lesbian. It doesn't mean that that's all I am. And I think nobody says that lesbians can't suck cock.
True. I know.
Who's making the rules here? I mean, I do what I want to do. I don't want to suck cock anymore. So it's no good asking.
Okay.
Don't write in, please. But I did suck cock because my parents said you mustn't sleep with anyone before you're married. When they say sleep with, they meant fuck.
Yeah.
But they would never say that. Anyway, going back to cock sucking, in memory only, it gave pleasure. It was easy. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't get pregnant. I think it slightly affected my gag reflex. And so going to the dentist is a little bit difficult now. But I don't regret it.
It was not a judgment. It was more that what I get from your writing is that you talk about how pleasure was not your it wasn't
to be given.
It wasn't important.
Wasn't expected.
So I think that we are not taught as women that our pleasure matters. And often the pleasure I certainly felt as a young woman, the pleasure I got was out of seeing how much pleasure I could give someone else.
Yes, I think that's true. And what is very sad now is that seems not to have changed. Because porn is given to kids, men particularly, they expect girls to behave as the people in the photographs behave.
The porn stars behave.
Yes.
Have you ever watched porn?
I've seen it. I've never watched it. You know, watch it means that you choose and you. I can't. I don't get any pleasure from that. It doesn't engage me vaginally in any way.
Okay.
I don't want it. I don't need it.
I've written down some of the things that really landed in the centre of my heart from this book. And these are, you say, everyone is afraid. We all feel the terror of failure, of being overlooked, of being worthless. And elsewhere you say, one of the things you realise as you go through life is that everybody is scared inside. And I think I was quite surprised to read that you say that you come across as a very confident person, but of course inside you're not. And I don't know why that surprised me, because I know what it's like to be human. But I just thought that was a really beautiful...
I believe it's true. I think that we have to present a front. You know, there's a Dutch phrase which Heather taught me, my partner, which is drempelvrees, and it means the fear of going beyond your front door, the threshold, which is the drempel. And I think we all kind of gear ourselves to go out and meet the world, and we take a step away from who we really are in order to present ourselves to the world. And I know I do it, and I think everybody therefore does it. I'm no different to everybody else in that way. So I feel I want to comfort people and say, you know, we're all like that. We all feel that. You don't need to, but I know what it's like. I just think it helps people to feel that their own sense of inadequacy is shared.
I think it's a really helpful thing. I definitely am going to give you my number. I mean, I was always going to give you my number, Miriam. There was never any question.
Oh, that's nice.
But I'm definitely going to be person 11,894. I do not have that many contacts in my phone, I have to say.
Well, you haven't lived as long as I have. Well, we've got these phones now that we can do it then and there, you see, which is good.
Which is helpful.
It's helpful.
The only people I speak to really on the phone are my daughter and my husband.
So you have one child.
I've only got one. I have an only child, yes.
I knew I never wanted children. I always knew that from the very beginning. And I'm not sorry that I am barren. I'm a barren old maid. But I'm not really an old maid because I've had a lot of vaginal joy one way or another.
Yeah. I mean,
nothing anal.
Nothing.
I really want to make that clear.
Okay. We will make that clear.
Okay. Everything coming out, nothing going in.
Okay.
Except occasionally a suppository.
Okay. Well,
you have to do that sometimes.
I mean, we do, all of us.
And I do advertise suppositories on television.
Is it anusol?
I've never known quite how to pronounce it, but I think it is.
Okay. Is it part of your contract that you with anusol that you have to be clear that even though you advertise anusol, you do not engage in anal sex?
No, it's never come up, as the actress said to the bishop.
Another entry in the book. But I had a question about Leonardo DiCaprio as a great shopping companion. You thought he was gay?
I did think he was gay because he wore a dress.
Oh, I mean that's.
I know. I mean he was. I don't know, looking for a comment. I mean, I think he likes people to be talking about him.
So when you say he was wearing a dress, was it just the two of you and he'd put a dress on?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
But a very nice guy and a fine actor and a great shopping companion.
So this is why you're filming Romeo and Juliet,
yes.
Which is certainly for people of my generation, it was a sort of era-defining movie. We all swooned over Leonardo DiCaprio. You say in the Little Book of Miriam, you were the only person who didn't swoon over.
No, I liked him. I thought he was a jolly nice chap, and I liked the way he looked at life, and he was splendid. But Claire was wonderful too.
Claire Danes.
Yes, she was remarkable, but so sweet and vulnerable.
So Leo, as I'm going to call him, as if I know him. So how did you come to be shopping with Leo in a dress?
Well, we were in Mexico City. That's what you do in I'm just going to fart.
Okay.
Do you mind?
No, go for it.
It can be in or out of the programme. There we go.
Better out than in.
Yeah, I just think, why not?
I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough.
That's what you do in Mexico City.
You go shopping with Leonardo DiCaprio in a dress.
He was there, and I said, I'm going to the markets. And he said, can I come with? And I said, with pleasure. So we went shopping.
But why was he wearing a dress?
Well, you'd have to ask him that.
Okay.
I don't know.
What dress was he wearing? What was it like?
I can't remember. It was just a summer dress. It was hot.
He likes the feeling of the air between his...
I suppose so. And I just said, I think you're gay. And he said, no, I'm not. I said, I think you'll find you are. But I was wrong.
You were wrong.
He's not gay. So my gaydar is at fault there.
And have you heard from him since?
I haven't heard from him since, but I've met him and he's been a sweetheart. I think he's a terrific actor and a lovely bloke.
Is he in your phone book?
No, I didn't ask for his phone number.
Interesting.
I don't want celebrities.
No, okay.
They're not important.
You want real people.
Real people. And I think there might be another fart. I have to raise a buttock. There we go.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to ask one more question because I thought this was very telling. You're an incredibly funny woman. You are, you make people laugh. You bring people joy.
That's lovely. Thank you.
There is an entry in the Little Book of Miriam about working on being part of Footlights at Cambridge, and working with the men who would go on to create Monty Python. and how they just could not handle you as a woman because you were a funny woman. You were funny, and they sort of expected they wanted women to be dolly birds.
Yes.
I thought that was the most telling, fantastic anecdote in the book, and I just wanted to hear more about it from you.
I think in those days, Footlights, which was a light entertainment club, didn't have to accommodate women, just as the rest of Cambridge didn't have to. We were in a minority, and we were allowed to be there rather than welcomed. And I have never felt like that about myself. I take up the space I take in the world, and I think it's equal and worth anybody else's space in the world. So I didn't moderate my humility. I didn't moderate my confidence. I just went into it as I would anything else, and they didn't like it. My mother was so thrilled that I was part of the Footlights that she rang the Oxford Mail, which was the newspaper there, and she gave an interview about me and said, she's brilliant, etc., etc. And I think that really got up their nose. I didn't tell Mummy to do that. She just did it out of her own pleasure in my achieving success. So they didn't like me, and they showed they didn't like me by refusing to talk to me or look at me off stage. So every night I would go on, do the show, be brilliant in it, get lots of laughs, and then come off and be ignored and diminished. And I've never forgotten it, and I've never forgiven the two main people who were John Cleese and Graham Chapman. Graham's dead, it makes no difference. He was a cunt then, and John Cleese is unfortunately a bitter old man. I don't quite know why. I'm not bitter. I'm just pissed off, and I'm still pissed off. And it shows that I'm not good at letting things go because, it's something like 60 years ago. I should let it go. But I remember the pain. I remember the hurt. I remember how I would cry when I went home. And why would they do that to me? Performers, real proper performers, don't behave like that. So I turned my face against light entertainment. I wanted to be an actress. And it's nice that if I am funny, I'm pleased I'm funny because it's a good thing to be funny. But I'm not funny, I hope, at other people's expense. I don't want to make someone unhappy because I've made a joke. I want people to just relish the humanity we share and maybe see life in a slightly different way. And unfortunately, I can't forget when people are nasty to me. And I haven't forgotten. And I've forgiven those who were lovely to me, because afterwards Tim Brooke-Taylor, Eric Idle, not Bill Oddie, it's over, but it's not over in my heart and in my consciousness. And I know it makes me look like a silly old fart, but that's the truth.
I think it's I think it's something that resonates deeply with many women being diminished, as you say, in their professions, and how little, in the past, certain people they've worked with have cared about them. But look who's having the last laugh now,
well,
Miriam.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Miriam Margolyes. The Little Book of Miriam is out this week on Thursday, the 11th of September.
I've had a lovely time. Thank you.
I bloody love Miriam Margolyes for being so unapologetically herself. And I hope today she's given you a bit of permission to be more unapologetically yourself. I'd love it if you shared today's episode with someone who needs a hug and a laugh in podcast form. And please follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, because it really helps us to reach more people. But most importantly, take care, and I'll see you next week.